Bro, are you okay? You hit your head really hard. What? Episode 15 of the S.A.M? That doesn't exist. You know we're straight on 16, right? Anyways, get your head back in the game and welcome to the experience. Welcome back to the S.A.M experience. We are on episode 16. We are killing it out here. We have not missed a single episode. And let's see what the boys are feeling. How you guys feeling?
My
brain hurts.
Upright, and I am taking in nourishment right now, man.
So we got brain hurts and taking in nourishment. Which one are we doing first?
Let's see
about some of the. I want to hear what's going on with this brain hurting juice.
Well, okay. So, as you know, football season is nearing. Or maybe you don't know that, but now you do. So I went with some of the boys, trademark, to a Philadelphia Eagles preseason football game where they lost 35-0. And in order to compensate for the pain, everybody in the entire city of Philadelphia drank heavily throughout the night. And I just happened to be in the city. So, yeah, definitely woke up. Head was a little scrambled. Body hurt a little bit, but we're feeling good. Definitely took a nap. And I got some ginger ale. So nourishment is also being taken in.
How much booze did you pound back at this event?
Not as much as Bill and Evan. They had canned Mai Tais like maniacs.
Did you guys pay for all these at the stadium?
No. They drank heavily in the parking lot prior to this.
I'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah. Again, because what are you gonna like a can of beer is worth like $15 in the stadium. Like that? No, come on. It's insane.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. That's just like a lot of money. Period.
Oh yeah,
$15.
No,
for anything.
it's unreasonable. Stadium pricing in general is just unreasonable, and it's so unfair to the fans too because you already are paying like over $100 for seats on average. So it's like
it was.
How can anyone afford this?
It was over $100 to go see a preseason game?
No, but I'm talking about regular season games.
I was going to say, oh my God.
Yeah. It's the same thing with, like, I went to Hershey Park 2 weeks ago. Tickets for Hershey Park are like $75 on like a regular day admission. Like, don't get me wrong, Hershey Park is nice as hell, but those prices are really high.
Huh. That's strange.
You know, if you do the math here, after saying you went to a Philadelphia Eagles game and you went to a Hershey Park, I think people can start to triangulate your location here.
Oh, shit.
Well, you traveled pretty far to go to both of those, right?
That's true. I'm from Pennsylvania.
You could say that.
I live in Pennsylvania.
Dude, trademark. You live in Allentown, PA. Shout out to Allentown.
It's actually Freeland, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Freeland,
Yeah.
wow, that's very patriotic.
Well, it's a coal mining town.
Once again, very patriotic, very traditionalist. I like it.
Population
You see,
of
I
like
could see you
12
more as a
people.
mushroom grower in Allentown.
Mushroom grower?
Yeah, dude, you ever been to Allentown?
Max, what do you know about Allentown
I used to be like a traveling worker.
before you went to
So I
England?
used to travel like all up and down the coast
Real
to
shit?
do things for my job.
And you ended up in
and,
Allentown?
Yeah, we had a site that was like an hour from Allentown, so we used to have to drive through Allentown all the time.
Interesting.
We were on like the top of this hill that looked out on an Amish guy's property, and it was real interesting working there because all the Amish kids would come running up the hill, and they would like watch you, and then you would go to talk to them, and then they would run down the hill, and you'd watch them run down the hill, and then you'd go back to working, and then they would run back up the hill again. Real strange.
A friend of mine is currently living in Amish country right now because like him and his girlfriend work in 2 different locations. Like he works down in Maryland, she works near to Philly. So they just found somewhere in between, and it's in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. Like real Amish country. And he's always trying to get us to like come visit him, and he's like, "Guys, come to this beach nearby." Like obviously there's no beach. And we're like, dude, like obviously there's no beach. He's like, all right, it's not a beach. It's like a river behind our apartment, but it's really cool. Like nobody's coming for the river behind your apartment, dude.
Do you guys ever just go swimming in the river behind this strange guy's apartment?
Dude. I mean, listen, I'll get out there eventually, just not now.
Dude, shout out to Amish country. Shout out to smoking big doinks in Amish.
Yo, rest in peace, that guy.
Yeah, dude. R.I.P. Big King Dave.
Big King Dave.
He was our idol. Smoked too much doink.
Really? It's fatal.
Anyway, Sam, what kind of nourishment are you taking in?
Oh, the worst kind. You already know.
You eating cookies again?
Well, actually, I did just finish a cookie. Actually, during the broadcast, so we are taking in some very just healthy and just good nourishment. But also, I'm taking in nourishment for the mind.
Ooh.
So you're doing your homework?
No, not yet, thankfully. We're not in that deep. We're only on day 2.
What does nourishment of the mind consist of?
Nourishment of the mind consists of currently just 5 different syllabi.
Oh, you're doing the calcs already in your head to figure out what you need for every grade?
Yeah. Figuring out the minimum amount of effort required to graduate with a satisfactory grade.
This isn't the last one, right? You still got another one after this?
Yeah. At least
Oof.
one.
Oof. At least 1 year or semester.
A semester.
Ooh, okay. That's not too bad.
I'm hoping I can do it in just these next 2 semesters. I mean, it depends on whether I get all my classes that I need next semester or not. And if I don't, I'm trying to see what they offer over like the winter or the summer too, just in case, man. You can never be too careful.
Yeah, you always gotta have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
You always gotta have a fucking Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo Part 2.
Of course.
What is that? What is that?
You
Dude,
don't know?
Rob Schneider, man.
Who?
Rob Schneider.
Max. Who is that?
Yeah. AJ, I don't trust you. You have to know who Rob Schneider is.
Everybody tells me this. I don't think I've ever seen this guy.
AJ, I link you a picture of Rob Schneider every day on the hour.
That doesn't.
24 hours a day, I send you a picture of Rob Schneider.
I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me.
There was a movie where Rob Schneider was like I don't know exactly the premise of the movie, but he like ran his car off of a bridge and he survived, but he hit his head on the way down and he thought he was every animal in the animal kingdom.
Max, this isn't
Solid
a real
movie.
movie, dude. You're just making things up.
Nah, dude, this is definitely a real movie.
Starring Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. I may be getting like half the facts wrong, but that's basically all I remember from seeing snips from Comedy Central, TM. Who I'm pretty sure is owned by the Mouse.
Oh no.
Disgusting.
Please, we can't go here again. We can't.
Disgusting.
Max,
At least we don't have an ad read that has to do with the Mouse.
do we have an ad read at all?
Yeah, we have an ad read. It's a pretty good one.
That's incredible.
We didn't get any money from it. Actually, we lost money from it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a lot.
So you had to pay
Like,
somebody to advertise?
No, like we just didn't make any. We didn't make any gross revenue.
Oof.
It cost us more to produce the ad than it did for us to actually. We're in the hole. That's all I'm saying. If the Sam Experience was a graph in a 90s television show and like a business meeting setting, we would be a red line going straight to the bottom.
Makes sense. I think all the viewers can visualize that pretty easily.
Yeah, we're really out here. We're doing it big.
Maybe not
Big
so
and
easily,
Amish
you know.
country.
Maybe the viewers have a little bit more faith in us than that.
I don't know. I think the viewers are losing faith in us rapidly.
That's because you keep just disparaging the Mouse.
I don't know, Sam. I look at all the comments every week, and most of the time we have things that are like down with the Mouse, and Sam is not
Go to
right.
your shell accounts.
Yeah, I know, but who else is commenting on these videos?
I'll need to make sure we get comments from the other side as well. I'll bust out my
Sam
other
logs
emails.
into the Sam Experience account, and then he starts commenting on our own videos as the account. That's the way to do it.
Okay.
So, Sam, have you ever watched Survivor?
No, I have not yet.
I haven't either. But AJ keeps talking about this Shane dude from Survivor.
When did that come up?
It just comes up all the time.
So
I just don't know. I just don't know who Shane is.
let me tell you something. So I don't know if you know, I got Z into it, and
Uh-huh.
he just watched the season with Shane on it. Oh my god, I think he's my favorite character ever on that show. This guy's ridiculous. He was
Can you explain Shane?
So in a nutshell, he's this like guy. He's like a high like intensity like business dude, right? Kind of young, but he has a son. And prior to coming onto the show, he's addicted to cigarettes. So he comes onto the show and he's like, "Yeah, I'm also doing this as like, like a not a purge. What was he? He's going cold turkey. He's trying to cut his addiction."
Yeah.
So the first like couple like days and weeks of him like on this island, or like he's losing his mind because he can't smoke cigarettes. He's just going absolutely ballistic on everybody around him, but nobody votes him out. So
We got to keep it,
Oh
man.
my-
It's good for the
Hey,
viewer.
that's so strong.
no,
They're just trying to help him quit.
dude, it's incredible. He survived so deep into this season, right? Well, let me also spoil something for you because I know you guys aren't ever gonna watch this, but
Yeah, we're never gonna watch it.
so one of the like events they do is they end up like going to like a local village and they like play soccer and like they hang out with like the locals. And one of the locals is standing around smoking some cigarettes.
No.
So Shane takes off his like shoes and gives them to the guy for some smokes.
No.
How many
Yeah.
smokes does he trade for the cigarette?
Like two.
2 cigarettes for a fucking pair of shoes.
But you think about this, they're on the you need shoes. Like your feet are gonna get destroyed. Like you need clothes
Oh
and
my-
stuff like that.
But he's got 2 cigarettes though.
He got the cigarettes.
This is a
I'm pretty sure
harrowing
the-
tale of addiction.
I'm pretty sure the producers gave the random guy some cigarettes so that they'd have a bit, but we're not going to talk about that now. It's all for the entertainment.
Do you guys ever think of like how much is that staged?
I'd say like generally speaking, not a lot, but like certain things I could see the like production team like pushing in certain directions. Like for example, like they're not going to like blatantly rig things to like see who wins certain events and who gets voted out and whatnot, but yeah,
They
like
probably like introduce interesting elements.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of difficult to talk about this with you guys because I would refer to something, but you guys wouldn't really know what it is. So, I mean, it depends, Max. Like, what are your take? Do you think like stuff like shows like that are set up?
I think like all reality shows have to be like a little staged and fake. I watch some Below Deck. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that show.
I think my mom's into it.
It's like a show about people that work on like yachts.
Is that
like private yachts?
Is that the one where everyone's just screaming all the time?
There's seasons where they get into fights and they scream at each other.
Okay.
But typically it's like drama. Like all the episodes have the same kind of formula. Like there's a little drama in the beginning of the episode, and then you meet the guests because every week they have new guests that come onto the ship. It's like rich people that are willing to afford to rent a yacht in like Greece for a week
So
because they have like
so the show's premise is that it follows around the crew.
the crew. Yeah,
Of
it doesn't
that
really
runs
focus
the
on the
ship.
guests. It's just the crew and the captain.
Okay, and they're like
You-
interesting characters.
Yeah, and they do that same thing that every reality show does, where they cut back to like them staring at a camera in front of a green screen, and like you can obviously tell it's like shot afterwards, and they're like pretending to be shocked.
The confessional.
The confession booth.
Yeah.
But like they always follow the same episode premise. It's like there's drama in the beginning, and then they kind of hash the drama out when people are on board, and then a new drama like takes place as soon as they leave.
So, do they ever have to deal with like pirates?
No, it's never in like places where there are pirates,
Interesting.
which also makes me think that maybe it's like set up, but it's usually in like really rich parts. It's usually like in like off the coast of Spain.
It's
Or
not
off
like a
the coast
huge
of
like pirate
Greece.
place, man. The pirates will
Yeah,
come
it's
when they
not-
need to jump the shark.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the video where these like people on a tanker ship, like or like a cargo ship, are going across the ocean, and then pirates come running up in like a little dinghy,
You talk,
and these dudes just unload like clips onto this pirate ship.
are you talking about like Captain Phillips, like the Tom Hanks movie?
Nah, it was like real life.
It,
Yeah,
Like
well,
it was
they
like
have a couple
that-
of it,
that-
and also that actually happened too. But yeah,
yeah, the movie was
I
based
know, but
on.
I'm saying like
yeah, but they
I'm
have a
saying, like,
bunch
this
of
was, like,
videos of just pirates in these little tiny dingy little ships, and then guys with like
yeah,
M16s or the straight up mounted machine guns just introduce themselves. Very.
yeah. This dude had a mounted machine gun, and he just blew up this Carolina skiff off
What?
the coast of Africa.
Oh my
It
God,
was fucking nuts.
that's hardcore.
It's actually
And I guess you can really do anything in the open ocean.
I hear it's like a, especially in like some of the straits out there, man. It's a very lucrative job to be hired as like a guard for one of those ships. A lot of like
Yeah.
former soldiers, like Marines and whatnot from the U.S. will go over there and just be like private contractors on those ships.
It's wild.
Yeah, you gotta admit, like, how fucking boring it must be, though.
Well,
Dude, you're making fat stacks.
well, I mean, listen, you could either A, make a ton of money and just like get like a ship ride, like a couple week long ship ride, and nothing happens and you make a ton of money. Like that would probably be ideal. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to have to be like in a gunfight for your life
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
open seas.
But you, like, how many pirates do you think you encounter, like, on the day-to-day? Like, you probably encounter a decent bit of pirates at the one coast, but then it's just like you're just sitting watching water for 3 weeks as you cross the ocean.
Still getting,
Because those bad boys are slow.
Mhm.
dude, you're still getting that money though.
I know.
Yeah, you are getting a decent bit of money.
Like it ultimately becomes worth it because you get food, you get like somewhere to sleep. Sure, it's boring as hell, but like again, you got to
Yeah.
be a certain kind of person to like take on that job in the first place.
And they
Yeah.
probably like they probably got like a pretty decent sized contingent of guards. So like you're not on watch all the time. You got a couple people on watch. Everyone else is just
Yeah.
hanging out, paddling around, just being there,
drinks-
being ready.
Drink some beers,
Mm-hmm.
play some cards. Just do like mercenary shit.
Speaking of doing mercenary shit, I gotta bring it back. I gotta bring it back to the Fast and Furious.
Okay. Nice. Are we gonna have a weekly segment on Fast and Furious?
No, I just feel like this really fits. So in the first movie, they're stealing DVD players, right?
Yes.
Out of the back of trucks, of like big rigs.
Right, which is
And-
small time shit, but in the in the context of the first movie, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, because like at the time, DVD players were like just coming out. Because I had the first two movies on VHS.
Legendary.
Yeah, so that tells you like how old those movies were. But in those movies, the drivers of the big rigs take it upon themselves to defend their loads, their cargo loads.
Yeah, they got like sawed-off shotguns and shit.
Yeah, like that end bit is so unrealistic because if I was a truck driver and somebody rolled up on me with a fucking harpoon gun and shot into my car, I would just put that bitch in park and let them take it.
Would you see? That's how you know you're not a
Yeah.
trucker, man. Trucker life, it's sacred, man.
Sam, you gotta see this fucking harpoon gun they shoot at this dude. This thing goes through the windshield and then launches into the fucking seat.
But does it hit the driver though?
No, they never shoot at the driver
Exactly.
because they're really good guys, even though they're bad guys.
Well, yeah, it's just a little light theft of trucks with harpoons. That's no big deal.
The best part was in that movie, they were like, each of these shipments are worth over millions of dollars. And I don't even remember what they were using the money for. I think it was like to make sure the restaurant didn't go under. But that was the last time we ever saw the restaurant ever again.
Yeah.
Sounds like my old boss.
Yo, shout out to that guy. Yo, where are the bodies in the river at?
That's a callback, boys. Episode 1. We've come a long way.
Defrauded and destroyed an entire bank, but it's fine.
It was a whole
Yeah,
bank?
with the whole bank.
Oh,
He only did
wow.
a year too. I mean, the guy who
Oh,
sold
wow.
out did more, but you know what? You want something, you lose some, right? That's why, look, if you ever get arrested and you're part of a criminal conspiracy, be the first person to start ratting people out.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta let them have it.
Well, that's why
Dang.
somebody's always a rat, because they get off the easiest, and everybody else who's still like out there or at large, their time is limited. I'll say
Mhm.
that.
Did you guys ever run from the police?
Have I ever run from the police?
Whoa, this means you have.
I thought
if
you
you're bringing
said.
it up.
No, no. I've never personally run from the cops, but I have interacted with the cops um, as a party, a college party, got a little out of hand. And yeah,
Project X.
yeah, and I was one of the we'll say sober members, because every good college party you got to have a sober member to like for situations like that, and I just happened to be like one of the guys on duty that night, so that's always interesting.
You sound like you're making rounds around your cargo ship and waiting for pirates.
I wish, dude.
AJ opens up the window of the frat house and unloads his mounted machine gun at the cops
Well,
and just rolled up.
Oh, this is purely fictional, by the way, for everybody listening. I have never shot at the cops to date.
To date.
But tomorrow, though?
Tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day.
So what happens? So the police come.
Yeah, so basically, like, the one cardinal rule is you can't be too loud. Followed very closely by cardinal rule number 2, which is don't have, like, drunk underclassmen, like, wandering the streets of the town. Okay? As long as you can, like,
Solid.
manage those two. Oh, and, like, if you're a big college, like, don't kill kids either, like, because that happens.
Is it like, like a
Really
small
solid.
college? But
Well, that's generally a big college problem.
yeah.
But hey, listen, drinking is dangerous, for real, especially with kids who don't know what they're doing. So you got to keep an eye on things. But yeah, no, basically, Max, what happens is, you're too loud, essentially, because the cops can't, like, do anything. Like, if they see people just, like, hanging around a house, I mean, they could, like, drive by, whatever, but if you're too loud and then they say, oh, there's, like, a noise complaint, then they get full, like, jurisdiction to come, like, knock on your door and break up the party. So that's generally how it went down when it did go down. Luckily, What's up?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just luckily I wasn't around for, like, some of the, like, larger police incursions.
Like Project X style?
Nah, dude. Everything I describe, like, way more interestingly than it actually went down. Yeah, no, it was pretty,
You
like,
just, like, went and talked to the cops, and they're like, all right, shut this bitch down.
pretty much, dude. And then the school was so whack, too, because, like, meanwhile, like, some of the other fraternities were, like, doing, like, horrible stuff to their pledges and, like, getting kids, like, really fucked up. Like, they hit some kid with a car. Like, it was all bad. Like, terrible stuff, okay? And meanwhile, like, we get one thing. We're like, uh-oh, like, we were too loud. Everybody go home. And the school is like, well, you guys are on probation now. Really? Really?
You should have did it like Animal House. Like, as soon as you went on probation,
Well,
just
it's
went
important to
absolutely
grease the wheels of
harder.
nepotism, man. You guys should have made more friends in the right places.
And the thing is,
Damn, Sam's got a point.
I'm not, like, trying to brag or anything, but, like, I just want to point out that, like, our fraternity was, like, in good standing, like, academically. Like, we had very good academic students. Like, we took school very seriously overall. And so the school would often look at us and prop us up and say, hey, you guys have, like, you're like a model organization, more or less, because we like did a decent amount of philanthropy and we were good academically versus, like, some of the other fraternities that were, like, half the kids are, like, a semester away from, like, getting kicked out of the school.
And you see, that's what hard work gets you, AJ.
Oh my God!
Hard work gets you more work.
I wanna call out the name of an organization, but I won't. I just want to say they got kicked off campus, so they had to disband and, like, remove their name and, like, letters. You know what I mean? Like the Greek letters.
On their house, yeah.
Well, at my school we didn't have letters on the houses. There weren't any, like, because we just moved around every so often. There was no, like, Greek row. There was none of that.
Okay.
But yeah, so they got kicked off campus. I don't want to say what they changed their name to because it's extremely inappropriate and it also might dox me for anybody listening who knows. But they changed their name to a very inappropriate, derogatory thing towards women, and then showed up to all the, like, events during Greek Week anyway as that club. And I thought, like, the officials of the school were gonna explode. They were so pissed off.
Dude, what Chads? They really did it Animal House style.
Nah, they were a bunch of dickheads, dude. They like if it was Animal House, you'd have a bunch of like nerds and like, it'd just be cool. But no, these are just a bunch of dickheads. Like they deserved everything that happened to them.
Dude, shout out to fraternities, dude.
I can't believe we're back on this, dude. We gotta go 1 week without fucking talking about school.
It's just not gonna happen. Just accept it. It was such a major part in our lives.
See, and you know what?
It's still a major part for some of us.
Yeah, well, true. Dude, what gets me is that it took me 7 years to finish my undergrad, and then, like people still turn around and are like, "So you're going to grad school? You're going back for more?" And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, "What? Why wouldn't you? Really? You can't see why I wouldn't want to go back immediately? Holy crap! Like, God, it was such a slog. I felt so like." I mean, I don't have to describe to you guys. Like, you just get lost in the sauce there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hassle, especially now with you, Sam. How you got to do everything like virtually. I bet that's gotta be a nightmare.
I wish. Instead, we are in person.
You kidding me?
Oof.
Nope.
Oh, that's.
It's both good and bad. It's just so I'm a commuter, right? I don't live on campus.
Right.
It is a pain. Like you have to risk your life to drive in this city. I mean, in most cities you gotta risk your life to drive, but like especially here, they got to the point where the governor straight up acknowledged. He was like, "Yeah, guys, the roads are really bad. We know. I hear your complaints, but also we don't have any money, so get got."
So how long is that commute, my man?
It's about like 27 minutes or so, 32 if it's high traffic time. It's not terrible.
As bad as my.
Oof.
It's not as bad as my hour and a half commute.
True.
True story.
Terrible time. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't ideal. I'll say that.
And then, oh man, let me tell you something. Parking on this campus is another story altogether. Like I saw I was trying to figure out how parking would go, right? So I was like trying to look it up, and people were saying things like, "Yeah, so long as you get there by 8:30, you can probably still find a spot." And this is this is a pretty big college. So I ended up buying a parking pass at a garage where they guarantee you a spot.
Uh-oh.
And I realized we got to get into the garage business because the parking garage specifically on college campuses. Because if you own one of those boys, $400 for a spot
semester?
in this garage for 1 semester.
Holy
Oh, that's pretty
crap.
typical.
I mean,
Well, I didn't even pay that much, dude. That's crazy.
that is a business that we just need to tap into.
That's a racket.
I know. But
Holy crap.
when so my first day there, right? I had to actually pick up my parking pass, and so I had to find like a normal spot to park in, right? So I left like 2 hours early so I could find a good spot to park, and then I could go to my go to my parking services, get my parking pass, and actually park my car there. Woo! Terrible idea. I should have left 4 hours early. Let me tell you. I ended up parking like a mile off campus at a Subway next to a nail salon, and then I had to hike across for some reason like 3 sets of train tracks. I had to hike a mile uphill, get to my parking services. I don't even have enough time to go back to my car, so I just didn't leave it there. And going from that to actually parking in the garage today, wow, it was worth the 400. I'm gonna say it.
It's worth the 400.
It's worth the 400. That's the worst part.
Dang, that's kind of nice.
They price
Sam,
gouge you, but it's actually like it was so nice.
Sam, I'm going to tell you something that they don't tell you when you're in college. But you can park illegally on campus, get all the tickets you want, and then not pay them because the campus police doesn't have the authority to enforce them.
Now this, while it's a good idea, it implies that there is a single space left to park. When I told you that story about me having to drive a mile off campus, I was originally intending to find a spot to park illegally and to just run in and get my parking pass real quick. I couldn't find one.
Oh,
I was just looking for a single empty spot where I could just roll the die.
Right. But you couldn't even do that because there was.
And so like part of the problem is we had 2 extra parking lots that got shut down too. And then they just, I don't know why they shut them down this year, but they were shut down, so we had even less parking than normal. So it's pretty crazy out there right now.
You got that COVID.
So, the parking lots at the university I went to when I commuted, they had color coding systems. right? All the lots you could park at were owned by the university, and the higher you went up in color, the more expensive it got, but you had more access to different lots. And if you got the green parking pass, it was like $600 a semester,
What?
but you could park in one parking lot that was like a half a mile away from campus, and that was like the closest one. But it would fill up immediately, so I just got the worst one possible, and then parked like in the next town over and rode my bike to class. And I started illegally parking in the train tracks that were right next to the parking lot I could park in. I would pull my bike out and I would ride underneath the bridge, say hello to the pissing homeless man every morning, and then he would yell at me in some sort of broken English, and then I would ride to campus every day. And I remember coming down the bridge and looking over, and there's the fucking parking ticket guy for the city, not the town.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, the city.
Oh God.
And I booked it to my car. I literally just threw my bike into the back of the car and drove away right before he could give me a ticket. It was the best moment of my life. Followed by the next day where I parked in the actual parking lot. Because by the way, my classes didn't start until like 8:30, but I had to leave my house at 5 o'clock if I wanted to get a parking spot by 6.
So is that so you
And,
just
like,
hung out on campus?
So I had to hang out on campus for like 2 hours.
Damn.
And I usually take a poop at one of the lecture halls, and then I would go lay on a bench for an hour. But I was riding my bike to campus. I had like a mile left, and it started pouring its ass off. And it poured so bad that it soaked through my rain jacket, through all my clothes, through my shoes. And I was so soaked that as soon as I got to the campus, it stopped raining.
Of course it did.
So I rode my bike back, and then I got naked in my car and put all my clothes on every single heating vent I possibly could in my car and cranked the heat to like 1,000,000,000 in the middle of August.
Holy shit, man.
Got changed, went back to class, and then opened up my book bag, and everything was destroyed.
No, Max.
Ow.
So then I just zipped my book bag up, and I walked out of class, and I just took the day off. I went home, bought all new books, bought a brand new book bag, and just sat in misery at home.
That just hurts me personally, man.
Nah,
It was rough.
You gotta know when to take the L on stuff like that.
Yeah, you just gotta go home. Especially if you're a commuting student, like, you gotta have a mental health day.
Dude, there's nothing because again, I commuted for like the last 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those days where you like get to and nothing's going right and you're like miserable because you don't want to talk to anybody. You like don't like everyone's doing their thing on campus. You're just like the commuter, and like shit's like just not going well. You just got to get in your car and go. You just got to cut your losses. I get it. Let me ask you something, Max. Did you ever get a ticket?
No.
Like,
Because I only paid for the parking pass one semester, and then I stopped paying for it, and I just still parked in the furthest lot because nobody checked the furthest lot.
that's legendary.
Now hang on,
Yeah.
AJ. Before we continue,
Yeah.
you mentioned
Uh-huh.
that you don't have to pay back your parking tickets if your
Yeah.
school tickets you.
Yeah.
But so my school, right? They won't let you graduate if you have any outstanding debts, for example.
That's a lie. I graduated with 2 outstanding parking tickets
Oh
that I
my-
never paid.
What a Chad.
Well, that's
Yeah.
big.
I totally forgot about them too, and then like my like graduation thing was coming up, and they said you make sure you pay all your things, and I still had the ticket, and then they just never did anything about it. They just sent me my degree. So
Fear tactic.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, and then I like talked to somebody about it and said yeah they'll say that, but like for real like they don't have any authority. Also, it was like $50 like per ticket. I'm not like that's a lot of money. I don't know, man.
Especially when the only thing you can afford is 7 packs of ramen noodles a week.
You want? Oh, did I ever tell you the story of how I got like an actual like town parking ticket from like the town where I went to school?
I don't think so.
Sam. Okay, well, all right. So there was a snowstorm coming up, right? And we had a very tiny driveway that can only fit like 2 cars, maybe 3, and there were like 5 or 6 cars plus like somebody's girlfriend. Okay. So we're like, okay, we don't want to leave our cars in the street because they're going to get like buried by the plows or they're going to get hit by the plows, essentially. So we decided we're going to move all the cars up into the driveway that we can, and then the other cars we're going to put off to the side of the driveway, like on the dirt, right? Just so everything's off the street for this snowstorm, because it was going to be like a foot of snow, like no joke.
Uh-huh.
And it was going into like a long weekend or something, so we're like, let's just get the cars out of here, whatever. It's fine. So the night before, we pulled all the cars up. We had them all arranged like on, where they needed to be. And the cops come up to our front door and they start knocking on the door. And they're like, "Yeah, you guys can't have this here." We're like, "What do you mean?" They go, "A neighbor called. They said you were doing this and that's highly illegal. So we're going to write you up for a ticket now."
Parking on the grass?
Yeah. Also, what neighbor cares that much? Like, what? Seriously? Like, did our landlord call the cops on us? Like, he drove by and, like, was like, "All these fucks, I'm going to nail them."
What state is it illegal to park on the grass?
So, that's what I'm saying, dude. You see this everywhere. But I guess our town had an ordinance, or maybe it's because we were renters, right? And, like, we didn't own it. It was so weird. I didn't even understand like what the cops were saying at first. They were like, "You can't do." I was like, "What? Like, this is our property though. Like, we're like renting here." And they were like, "No, this is illegal. Like, you're getting a parking ticket on our own rented property," which is incredible.
So what did you guys do? Did you have to move the cars?
Well, yeah, I had to move the car. I got buried in snow the next day, and then I had to go to court. And then when I went to traffic court, which was like a couple blocks over. And traffic court, right, for this, I had to be there at like 5 in the morning. It was insane. And I didn't sleep the whole night before because I was like, this is awful. I don't want to go like get harassed in traffic court. So I show up and the lady who's sitting at the desk like booking me and like doing all the paperwork with me, she's like, "Oh, you should be doing better than this. Like you're a college student. You should have known better than this." I was like, "What?" What? I'm like, "Whoa." I'm never going to forget what she said to me. She dead ass looked me in the eyes and was like, "You can't be doing this. This is not good behavior." I was like,
Parking on my
I
property.
parked my car. I parked my car like because there was a snowstorm coming. Like, what are you talking about? But obviously, I didn't say that. I was so just like shook by the whole experience. But that just never sat right with me. I was like, "What? What world am I living in where this is like everybody's biggest problem? Like, you got to nail those like delinquent college students for parking illegally."
You know you should have done, AJ?
Go ahead, Max.
You should have opened up your fanny pack right in front of this girl, pulled out your pocket natty light, key popped it, and then shotgunned it right at her desk.
Right in the traffic court?
Right in
This would
traffic
have made you
court.
immortal.
Do you guys want to hear a key to traffic court after this break?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break and then we'll get back to traffic court. This episode of the S.A.M is sponsored by episode 15. Some are saying it doesn't exist. Others are saying maybe it'll come out. Welcome back to the S.A.M experience. We are about to get into some traffic court shenanigans. Now this is big, boys. Have you guys ever heard of the dilemma zone?
Wait, say that again?
The dilemma zone.
Dilemma zone. Okay, I heard something else.
So, what the dilemma zone is when the light is yellow, you have to choose if you're going to brake or you're going to speed up. Right?
That sounds correct, yes.
When your light turns yellow, you have that moment. It's like however long the light yellow cycle is, you have that choice to choose to brake or stop, brake or go. And that's the dilemma zone. Is your brain has to automatically go, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Right? And now, what they don't tell you about traffic lights is they're all on timers. And they're all not set to the same amount. So you'll have X amount of seconds on a green light. You'll have Y amount of seconds on a yellow, and you'll have Z amount of seconds on a red. Right? That yellow changes. And the shorter that yellow cycle is, the shorter your dilemma zone is to pick how long you're going to go. Like, if, let's say the dilemma zone is 8 seconds. You have 8 seconds to decide if you're going to speed up or you're going to slow down.
But not every lights that has 8 seconds.
Yeah, not every light has that 8 seconds. So if you run a red and they take a picture of your license or whatever, the red light camera gets you, right? You look at it and you can go to court and you can just say, "Hey, I'm in the dilemma zone. If I were to brake, I wouldn't have enough time to brake and stop safely. So I had to run the red light. It was safer for me to run the red light than to do whatever." And if you really want to put the nail in the coffin, you go to that intersection and you time the cycle. And you see how long the yellow light is, and that'll blow their minds.
So if it's really
If you're in
short,
traffic court and you'll be like, "Yeah, you gave me 3 seconds to decide. I had to blow it."
right? And I was
Or
already
would've-
going 60 miles an hour. Like I couldn't.
Yeah, I was
Stop.
already in the dilemma zone, so I had to blow the red light. And most of the time they'll be like, "Oh, you said dilemma zone. Here you go.
Dilemma.
You're out of the
This is
ticket."
like a court life hack.
This is like some real traffic engineering shit right here. Dilemma zone's actually like a thing in court. It's pretty bonkers. I had a professor who actually taught traffic engineering, who all he talked about was how he got out of every red light ticket he had because he just said dilemma zone.
How is he getting so many red light tickets?
Because he just he was just gunning it all the time.
What a legend.
Dude was a mad lad. Dude was Tokyo drifting through the streets of my school. He had like a Honda Accord and he was just 110 all the time.
He's just whipping it.
He's getting the most out of his
Dude, he was the
vehicle.
best. He came in like we were in like a big like 150 like 200 people lecture hall, and he always would carry around like a Britney Spears microphone. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
Like, you know, back in the day when like pop stars would go on stage, you would see them. They have like a headset on, almost like a gaming headset, but it was like
yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would come in with one of those all the time, and he hooked it up to the speakers in the classroom so he could talk about how like he had pasta that night for dinner.
What a guy.
And I was like, damn, I pay $150 an hour for this.
That's incredible.
And that's the dilemma zone. So now you guys know how to get out of a or a red light ticket.
Good to know, man.
Yeah.
Speeding, I can't help you with. Some states you can pay more to get the reduction lower.
I also know you get screwed if you get pulled over by like certain state troopers. Like I think it's Virginia. The state troopers will destroy your entire life if you get pulled over by them for speeding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my friends, I think they drove up from it was either Florida or NOLA, and they were coming up, and they almost made it here, and then they were just flying through, Virginia, and the guy driving, it wasn't his car either, so the cops like just nailed him. He had to go all the way back down actually just to go to court too. So it's just
He didn't just pay like a lawyer to represent him.
no, like I said, it's just weird, like the way you got to do it. I don't know. Other states have weird, rules. I guess. I don't know the
Dude,
specifics.
That just irks me so much.
Yeah, it's awful.
It happens though. Sometimes you just gotta be speeding. That's why you need to buy yourself a Fast and Furious car so you can outdo them.
A rice.
It's like the scene in Tokyo Drift where Han's like, "Oh, you're going 110 kilometers an hour. The cops won't chase you for going that fast because they can't catch you."
You just go faster than every cop car.
Yeah. Dude, that's such an epic point in that movie.
Max, you ever have any run-ins with the cops?
When I was little, I used to a lot.
A lot.
Not like I was like on the bad side. Like, I remember one time my brother found a wallet, and like we called the cops to we gave him the wallet back, and the cops came to the house, and it was wild. I remember one time my dad got pulled over for speeding like 5 miles over the speed limit, and I figured the cop was gonna shoot up the car, so I like held my hands up the whole time.
Well, that's the correct response, Max, because cops are, looking for any excuse to shoot people.
This was like when I was like 7.
That doesn't change the fact that they were still cops.
Dude, shout out to the police.
The 5-0.
5. Do you guys remember how good Cops was? How great of a show that was?
Can't say I do, man. Can't say I watched a lot of that.
Oh my god, I watched so much Cops. I watched so much Cops, and then Live PD came out, and I was like, this is like Cops on steroids.
I love how Live PD got taken down because of, the events of the past, like, year and a half. And
yeah,
then,
same with Cops.
well, and then they literally just brought them back once everything
Yeah.
calmed down. Nothing changes.
Did you guys? There's an episode of Live PD where they pull over this lady, and he like goes up to the mirror and he knocks on the window, and she like rolls it down, and she's like, "Yes, officer," and he's like, "Have you been doing drugs, ma'am?" And she's like, "Yes," and he's like, "Okay, what kind of drugs have you been doing?" She's like, "I've been doing meth," and he was like, "Okay, well, I don't see any like injection marks. Did you smoke it?" She's like, "Nah, I've just been eating it."
Oh.
And that's like the end of the clip.
She's just been eating it?
She's just eating meth in her car.
Wow. That's
There was another good clip I watched where a guy pulls over this truck and he's like, I seen this truck speeding. And he goes over to the guy and he's talking to the guy and he shines this flashlight in the back of the you know how like some trucks have like a little spot that like some trucks are like 2 seats and then they don't have a bench seat in the back, they just got like a little spot.
Yeah, like a little cargo.
Yeah, just like an
spot.
inside, like you could put like groceries in there or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like not enough for like a person to sit.
But it's some storage.
Well, this person had like a mat over top of it. Like over top of this area, and it was like pretty high up. So like it almost like filled up the whole area. And the cop like opened the door and like pulled the rug off, and there was like 4 illegal immigrants laying on top of each other trying to get into the country.
Yo, you love to see it. I mean, it would have worked too if it wasn't for these meddling cops.
Yeah, dude, they had the signature carpet on the bottom of the shoe. The way to go.
Max, did you know that police officers across the country don't have the authority to arrest or interfere with illegal immigrants in this country?
Huh.
Yeah. So that clip, technically, that cop was acting outside the law. Just thought you should know that. Just
Interesting.
a little fun fact for all our viewers right there. Because
Well, we don't know if they arrested him. I think that was like the end of the bit.
Well, doesn't matter. Cops can't do anything about it. Legally, they can't.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. It's being illegal in this country is not like a, crime. It's like a civil violation or whatever it is. So
Well, hopefully those illegal immigrants knew their rights.
well, I don't
Probably
know,
not.
man. It's live PD, dude. You got dudes filming cops doing wacky shit with
Yeah,
the
but like
locals.
half of it's got to be fake.
No way.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, almost all of it's
No,
fake.
I'd highly doubt
There's
it.
no way. Half of that shit's fake.
it's kind of
You see half of
Yeah.
that stuff walking down the streets in like Philly or New York at night, man. In the middle of the day, actually.
Yeah, but it's all fake for the TV show. They're staging that shit. They got to make sure they get the right clips.
Heck, there's
That's really
no
interesting.
way.
I don't think it's as staged as you're saying it is. I think it's more like maybe they like pulled them over prior to like starting the clip and like explained what was happening, which is like got to be so fucking humiliating too. Like, yeah, like you're getting arrested right now. Oh, and there's also a camera crew here, and you're gonna be on TV. Like,
But
Well, you got to sign a waiver for your face to be on the television.
but see, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, who would ever sign that?
oh, they probably
Well,
they
that's what
probably
makes
get
me
out of
think
their
it's
crimes.
fake.
Like they're probably like, yeah, we're gonna go through like the process of arresting you, but we won't charge you if you sign this waiver.
But that's what makes me feel like it's fake.
Matt, listen, I said this a couple episodes ago, dude. Americans don't care about anything as long as it's entertaining.
Yeah, dude, it's true.
As long as you can entertain people, doesn't
True.
matter if it's good, morally bad, morally questionable, doesn't matter. As long as people turn it on and watch it, you're good to go.
You know, it was pretty entertaining this weekend or last weekend.
Do tell, Max.
I went to the local Comic-Con,
Ooh,
and it was a trip.
I heard you wore your fursuit, Max.
Oh my god, don't get me heated on my furry hot take. Sam, you want to hear my furry hot take?
I would love to hear your furry hot take.
I don't care that you dress in a fursuit. I don't care if you have a squeaky ball in your suit, so instead of speaking, you squeeze the squeaky ball a whole bunch of times. Just don't touch me. That's all I want. Just don't walk up to me in your sweaty ass stinky fursuit and touch me. I don't care that you come to the local Comic-Con dressed as an animal. I honestly do not care. Just do not touch me.
It's pretty fair, dude. There is a pandemic
That's all I
going
want.
on.
True.
That's all I want.
Now, Max, I heard you went as a shirtless Kylo Ren.
Dude, I wish I went as Wide Boy Kylo Ren. That'd be so fucking awesome. Actually, my buddy won. He won the costume contest.
What did he go as?
50 plus competitors, and he won.
Real shit?
Yeah, she was crazy.
Damn.
He went as Super Saiyan Man, I think.
So
It was from Dragon Ball Z, I think. Maybe Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. I'm not really sure.
I was gonna say.
I never watched either of them, so I don't really know the difference.
It's the same characters, I'm sure.
But he 3D printed this helmet that took like 4 days. Sanded it, primed it, painted it, and it looked super dope. And he it was nuts. When he won, we all went fucking bonkers.
I mean, the commitment, you know.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
But the best part about the local Comic-Con is it's always in August, and it is always wicked hot that day. And the best part is, like, you go into the library, because, like, the library is kind of near the Comic-Con area, and that's where, like, most people go to, like, steal AC.
Mm.
And, oh, my God, the smell of this place. It's 3 stories, right? And the further you go up in the stories, the worse the smell gets. It's like the Game of Death. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie.
No. What is
It's a Bruce Lee movie. I think actually your favorite show, SpongeBob, did a spoof on it. Where Bruce Lee's got to go up this tower, and there's a person at every floor of the tower that he has to beat before he can get to the top.
So it's like the Pokemon Tower. I mean, the Battle Tower from Pokemon.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember the Battle Tower.
Oh my goodness, Max.
Was that in the Battle Frontier?
Yeah, it was like one of those where like every level you had to keep winning to advance in the tower. You had to get to like the 100th floor or something.
Yeah, it's like that.
Incredible.
But that's like the worst. That's considered the worst Bruce Lee movie because they did it in very bad taste.
Oh, why is that?
So like, we're kind of getting on this tangent here, but I think it's a pretty good tangent.
We're all about
so
tangents.
Bruce Lee
here, dude.
died in like
pro tangent.
Yeah, Bruce Lee died in like 73 or something.
Yeah, like a reaction to like morphine or something.
Aspirin.
It was aspirin. Okay.
Yeah, but like a lot of people think that his lover killed him, but that's another story. But he died in like 73, but this movie came out in 78.
Okay.
And so when he came up with the concept of the movie, but he only came up with like the rough concept. Like he didn't come up with like an actual story. The concept was like he was this fighter that had to get to the top of the tower, and he had to fight people along the way.
Right. Okay. I mean, it's a good premise.
It's a good premise, and he filmed a couple, not like a lot, like maybe 1 or 2 fight scenes in this tower. Like he was practicing, like he got the people that would play the villains, and like they went to this tower and they fought or whatever, but then he died. So this footage just sat for years, and then somebody was like, we're gonna do it, but we're gonna CGI his face on there as best as possible in the 70s.
Oh no.
So there was a lot of shots of like a guy sitting in a chair, and then they took a freeze frame picture of Bruce Lee and they taped it to the mirror. And then they would angle it just right so it looked like that person was making that facial expression in the mirror.
Huh.
Like that person was Bruce Lee. And then whenever they had a scene where they needed Bruce Lee to talk, the character that played Bruce Lee would wear sunglasses and then would be in like a very shaded area. So like you would just kind of like almost just only see his lips and he would talk.
So it's like clearly not Bruce Lee, but like they're trying to
It's
pass him off as.
it's 100% not Bruce
But
Lee.
it could be Bruce
It-
Lee.
It could be Bruce Lee, but it's like absolutely not. The best part about that movie was like the story premise was like this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like the idea of the movie, like when they made it in bad taste, was Bruce Lee is Bruce Lee, but he's a different guy named like Bobby Lee or something. And right after filming the movie Enter the Dragon, the one where he fights Chuck Norris in Rome. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie. Excellent movie.
Must have missed it.
It's one of Bruce Lee's greatest movies, even though there's only like 4 of them. He's the actor for that movie, and like the movie starts after that movie wraps. So like he comes off set after that fight. So this way they can use clips of Bruce Lee fighting in other movies in this movie.
Oh, okay.
After that movie wraps, he goes, and then the idea starts. And it's always like a drug kingpin who is like a kung fu master has like taken over this tower, and Bruce Lee's got to save the world
From the drugs.
from the drugs. Yeah.
Interesting.
Actually, one of Bruce Lee's only American movies was him going to an island with a kingpin to like with like an FBI agent trying to stop this person from selling drugs. And that person just so happened to have the ultimate fighting tournament.
I love how conveniently the plots come together for like moves like that. Because it's clear,
Yeah.
it's clear that like the whole when you have like Bruce Lee or like Jackie Chan, the whole thing is that they got to do some like crazy fight scenes. They got to like have like the show off, battles and stuff like that. But then you also have to like build a convincing plot around it.
Yeah. Now Bruce Lee's first 2 movies, first 3 movies, excellent. Only one of them involved big drugs.
I see.
One of his first movies, Big Boss, was like him working at an ice factory and then realizing like the people that ran the ice factory were like bad people and they were treating people badly. So Bruce Lee like just beats the shit out of all of them. That's literally the plot of the movie. He's just like, wow, you're bad people. I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
That's incredible.
Some of those movies are just so good.
Dude, we're never
God.
gonna get like decent fighting movies like that anymore because now every time there's like any kind of fighting or stuff like that, half of it is like CGI or it's got like I'm not trying to knock the Avengers here or like Marvel, but like if you actually go and like look at their fight scenes for stuff,
Yeah.
all they do are like jump cuts.
Yeah, the choreography has been getting really weak in the last couple of years, really this last decade. You gotta watch like
Yeah, and
specific films that are like trying to go against the current trend if you want to get good choreography a lot of the time.
Right, like, if you're watching like a Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, like you're going to have this like long shot of them like jumping over shit and like beating the crap out of like 4 dudes at once and it's all like, really put together. And then you go to watch Marvel and it's like, all right, here's Captain America, he just punched a guy in the jaw. Okay, jump cut. Now he's getting shot at. Okay, jump cut. Now it's like it's pretty like they do obviously it's put together well enough that it doesn't like, it's not that jarring and they can get away with it, but like if you actually sit down and try to like follow some of the fight scenes, it's like, oh, well.
Yeah, like if you're like someone who's say enthusiastic about the choreography going on there, you're not gonna be enthusiastic for long.
You're not looking at the right movie, my friend.
But
now, have you guys ever watched the Netflix Marvel TV shows?
I haven't.
very few of them.
Do you mean like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
No, I'm talking the Netflix ones.
So you're talking like Agents
before
of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Marvel. No, not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's ABC. I'm talking like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones.
I started Jessica Jones, but I never finished it.
That was like, it's like not a good one to start with, in my opinion.
I watched The Punisher, but that's not Marvel.
That's
Yeah.
Marvel.
That is Marvel. Okay, with
Yeah,
with-
actually, the Punisher made his debut in that universe in Daredevil season 2.
yeah, the 2 seasons of Punisher were pretty good. Not like anything crazy, but they were solid.
Yeah.
They were solid.
Same with Luke Cage.
But going back, Luke Cage is awesome. But we'll get to that in a second. Going back to fight scenes in Marvel, in Daredevil, there's a fight scene, they call it the hallway fight scene, where it's a one constant shot of Daredevil going through this hallway and fighting people like he's Bruce Lee.
Oh shit!
It's epic. If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
So it's
guys.
just one long shot.
It's just one long shot of like the camera slowly going down this hallway and then him fighting people through this hallway.
Oh, you'd love to see that.
And they did that in Luke Cage too.
yeah, I think they
Okay.
did something similar in The Punisher. There's like a
yeah,
jail
probably.
fight scene. I want to say. I don't know if
It's been a while.
I
since
forget.
I've seen
Yeah, it's
it.
been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was all one shot or not.
Well, you've watched Luke Cage,
Yeah.
right, Sam? Do you remember the scene where he puts the headphones on, he's listening to Wu-Tang Clan, and he rips the door off of the car and he runs in and just beats the shit out of people with
I
the door?
do not.
Oh my god, we gotta watch that after this. That's like the best scene ever. The dude takes a door off of like an Escalade, uses it as a shield even though he's bulletproof, and then when he gets up the stairs, he wraps the door around a guy and then pushes him down the stairs.
Oh, that's a move.
Dude, it's so epic.
That's a powerful move.
Yeah. I felt so bad for those people because, like, they really did put on, like, really good shows, but, like, Kevin Feige and the Mouse were like, yeah, we don't technically own you guys, so, like, you're not part of us anymore.
It's really weird how they handle
like,
all
you
that
can't-
stuff.
Yeah. Well, because they didn't think they were going to make Disney Plus and then make, like, their own shows.
Mm.
And that was their big mistake. Because Netflix was like, yeah, we're going to do it, but we're not going to do it at, like, we're not going to do it at Avengers level. We're going to do it at, like, the street level.
Right, where it's
They were
more-
really
Yeah.
fun.
No, yeah, I mean, obviously, because you know, Netflix does have money. Like they'll throw money at stuff, and they'll make
Yeah.
stuff good. I mean, it's never going to be like, you know, movie quality or like I guess you know, mouse quality, but
Wow.
they do a pretty good job.
You know,
I don't know.
Dude, just those shows are so good.
they were all much better than they had any right to be.
Yeah, you know what? That's it. Like, because you never saw them like advertised anywhere. You never like, they never got like pushed, like Marvel movies do.
Yeah.
But no, they ended up being pretty good.
You guys watch any other good TV shows?
Well, so long as we're
mean-
not too far from the idea of like fighting choreography. Not a TV show, but the IP Man series. I think they made like 4 movies.
Oh, It Man's so
Yeah.
good.
The fourth one, the most recent one, was probably the weakest. But like, if you want like good choreography and martial arts and some of that really just old, like not really campy, but you know what I mean. They're like the feel that you would get from a lot of the older martial arts movies. IP Man, where it's at.
Well, they're very like, the word is choreographed. Like you know, like they put a lot of like effort into like all the fight scenes to make them like as cinematic as possible.
Yeah.
And the whole like thing revolves around that. Now those movies are pretty old school though, Sam. Right? Like they're, you know, from what like 70s, 80s.
No, they're
No.
like
No?
recent.
They're
like
Really?
post
2000s.
like post 2000.
Oh.
I think the first one came out like 2008 or so.
I'm way off.
Do you remember the Star Wars Rogue One?
Sure.
Do you remember the monk?
Oh, you're the blind guy. I'm one with the Force.
Yeah.
The Force is with me.
He plays Ip Man, who Ip Man is Bruce Lee's teacher in real life.
Okay, I was gonna say the actual Ip Man was like an OG like martial arts dude.
Yeah, it's about his life.
Oh,
Or
see, that's why
Bruce-
I'm confused because the movie
Yeah.
series came later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Sam, wasn't that movie? Didn't it have 2 third movies?
2 third movies?
They replaced Danny, or what's his name? Not Danny Young. They replaced the main character with like an older version of himself for one of the movies, and then everyone was like, "Wow, this movie's garbage without this guy." And then they brought him back for the final fight.
I don't remember. I remember something like that happening, but I forget how that whole thing went down.
Dude, the first two though are excellent.
Oh yeah, they are.
Doesn't like he goes through like the Great Depression too? Or
Yeah, this
something
guy is
crazy like
everywhere in
that?
history. I don't think it's the great.
Yeah.
Some kind of like occupation is
Like
going
the
on.
invasion. Yeah, like the Japanese invade China. That's nowhere close to the Great Depression. I don't know why I said it like that.
Well, no, I mean, no, the Japanese invaded China in like the late 30s. So
I want to say at some point, like the British are also there, and like they're not really invading, but they're like occupying or something. Or maybe it was the Americans. He's got to fight off Americans at one point.
One time he fights Mike Tyson. It's crazy. Yeah, dude, there's an actual bit in the movie where he fights Mike Tyson. It's bonkers.
I don't even remember that, but
Speaking of
he's all over the place.
speaking of fighting movies, did you guys ever watch Creed?
Remember?
nah.
Dude, that movie is awesome. That's some good fighting choreography, and the best part is Michael B. Jordan fights like actual fighters in that movie. Like both the people he fights in the movie are professional boxers and not actors.
Michael B.
Of course, they don't fight for real, but it's pretty cool that they got real boxers for it.
Well, Michael B. Jordan was really good as what's his face? Was it Killmonger in
Killmonger.
Black Panther? He was like I was like impressed at how like solid that movie was, and he was like a very like I guess convincing villain, but like also complicated. You know?
Yeah.
I know we're back on.
Was
the
he your
Marvel
guy?
shit.
Was he your favorite villain in the MCU?
I mean, I don't know, man. There's so many at this point. It's like, I don't know. I you know who I'm partial to? I'm
Who?
partial to Hugo Weaving as Red Skull because, what's it called? He's from The Matrix, and I like The Matrix. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting take.
Hmm.
Sam, who's your favorite?
Ooh, it's hard to say, man. Who's your favorite though?
Mine's got to be the Vulture. Michael Keaton.
Ooh, hold
He's
up.
an epic. Now, the reason why I like the Vulture so much is because he's literally he's one of the only villains that you're like, he's right. Like, why are we beating the shit out of this guy? He's right.
Well, okay, so his whole deal was that like he had the company, right? Like, he ran the company that was like salvaging.
Yeah,
all
he
the
ran
stuff.
a salvaging company, and then the events of the first Avengers happen, and he gets this big contract to salvage all of the alien tech, and then Tony Stark's like, nah, fuck you, and then he loses his company, and then him and his partners steal alien technology to build the Vulture supersuit, and then they steal more alien technology to sell on the streets.
Now, what was his justification for doing this? Like, just because he's like, why do the Avengers get like all this stuff and we don't?
His justification was like, people with money push around the people, like the little guy.
Yeah, it was pretty much like they were the local guys who were doing it, and then the government came in and shut them out, right?
Yeah,
And
and it was just because like Tony Stark had money.
Yeah.
It was like that was the reason he got,
yeah,
and he like
and like it was literally
He had
like
to
like
feed his
they
kids
weren't
and
even like
stuff.
really being bullied by Tony Stark per se. They were just like so non-existent to the people with money that they didn't even realize that they were like shoving them out of a job, for example.
Right. That's how they got all the technology in the first place, because like Stark and like the Avengers were like so busy doing other stuff that they were like, all right, we're just gonna like grab this stuff.
And the best part was about that movie was like Vulture really didn't do anything wrong.
Didn't he? Didn't
Like
he
yeah, okay, he was
straight
stealing
kill a
shit,
guy?
but I don't think he hurt a single
straight
person.
he
Like,
murdered
every
somebody.
time-
Yeah. Wait. Why
What
did
did
like?
he-
Because right at the end, Peter was like, I don't want to kill you, and then something happened. I
Didn't
can't
he
remember,
like
but-
go to test out a gun, and then it was supposed to be like a shrinkinator or something?
No. Oh wait, no, he did kill a guy. I forgot. He killed the first variation of the Shocker.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he just shot the dude, and he was like, "Oh, oops, I forgot about that bit."
Oh no, yeah, because it was like he didn't even mean to kill him. To be fair, it was like a comedic thing. He was like, "Oh, I thought this was a different weapon. It was supposed to like just stun him or knock him out, and it just evaporates the man instead."
Yeah, but besides that, um, besides that murder, he really didn't do anything super wrong.
Michael Keaton was right all along.
Michael Keaton was right all along. He was the best Batman.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's
Um,
also cool that he was Batman in the what was it, the Tim Allen Batman series, I think.
Yeah, dude, the Home Improvement ones.
No, not Tim Allen. What am I saying? No, who did I
He was
mean?
Tim Burton he
Bur-
was in the first two Tim Burton movies, and then George Clooney took it up because Michael Keaton was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this."
Yeah, those movies are ridiculous, man. You have Danny DeVito as the Penguin, Arnold as the
Yeah.
as the Iceman,
Dude, shout out to Doctor Freeze.
Doctor Freeze. There it is.
But like the Vulture was so cool. Like, sure, like half the time he did fucked up shit. It was because Peter Parker screwed him up.
Well, wasn't there like also a whole subplot where like Peter was like crushing on like his daughter or something?
Yeah, Peter didn't realize that the daughter was the Vulture's. Didn't realize that the Vulture's daughter was the girl he loved, or didn't love. He had a crush on.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, they crash the plane into like Coney Island or something, and then Peter Parker pulls him out of like the wreckage, and like of course the Vulture already knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And then they go to prison, and Scorpion, one of the guys on the ship that he was about to make the deal to, comes up to the Vulture, and he's like, "Hey, I know you know Peter Parker's identity. Tell me what it is." And he's like, "I have no clue what you're talking about." So like he doesn't even snitch.
Dude,
in
what
the
a real
clink,
one,
and
man.
it's like, wow, dude, Michael Keaton is so cool.
What a legend.
Honestly, I think that's why they threw him accidentally murdering the guy in there because he was too sympathetic, man. The test audiences were on his side.
Yeah, dude. Half the Marvel villains, I'm like, yeah, I'm on your side here.
I wouldn't go quite that
Like
far.
Thanos, I was like, wow, Thanos.
Ah,
The world's so much of a better
why
place
did he
now.
like this?
What? I'm being honest, dude. Thanos snapped so many people away, and then the next movie they're like, yeah, there's no more pollution, and there's dolphins in the river. And like everybody has a home. This is great. And then everybody gets snapped back, and then they're like, yeah, everybody who was in a home with somebody that got snapped back, you're homeless now. Thanks. Good luck. Have fun.
Oh, see, now that was the plot from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And I thought they
But
did
then
that really well because like
They did.
that's like a really serious like consideration. Like all these people are gone, and then they're like half the world's population just like returns. Yeah, I don't know.
Literally in the second movie with Thanos, fucking Captain America walks in. He's like, yeah, I saw some fucking dolphins in the Hudson River today.
Jeez.
I'm just like, seriously? You gotta stop making Thanos sound so right.
I think it's an interesting take to take away.
What? I'm just being honest.
Listen, I will say, for what it's worth, Thanos came out of the whole thing like as like just a favorite. Like everybody loves Thanos, even though he was like evil as shit, and he like wiped out half the universe. But everyone's still talking about Thanos these days.
Yeah, Thanos was real dope. I guess the build up to Thanos was the best part.
If you really think about it, dude, people
Yeah,
just appreciate how bold
like-
he is.
Oh, he went for it. He went for it. There's not a lot
You
of
gotta start
villains
going for it like Thanos.
just like mask off, going hard all the time.
Dude, shout out to Thanos.
Are there
Anyway,
are there any
Max.
other villains that you agree with? Because I mean, I don't know, man. That list is surprisingly short now that I think about it. I think most of the Marvel villains are kind of like they don't really have good points.
A lot of the Marvel villains are literally just like a clone of the main character.
They're like their evil alter ego.
Yeah, like the first Iron Man movie, the guy is literally just his business partner who gets an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, and wants to make money and weapons and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first Ant-Man movie is just a guy who gets an Ant-Man suit.
Look at this. Like, to be fair, Loki was like a recurring villain for a while, and then they kind of like brought him into the fold, and now he has his own show where he's got to be a hero. So
Yeah.
that also might just be
Um,
because what's his face, Tom
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston is sexy, so everybody loves him.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if we go to freaking Captain America just fought Captain America. It was just another guy who was a super soldier.
What, in the first one?
Yeah.
The Red Skull?
Skull's a super soldier.
Yeah, but he was like not that like strong or combative. He was just like
He was just
evil
red.
and Nazi.
No, he took the same serum.
Did he?
What's his name?
Yeah,
take?
but
He
like
kind of
they
got.
didn't
Did he
have,
get
like,
tossed around like the entire movie?
Yeah.
Nah, he tosses. He definitely tosses.
Also,
some style with
the
that
serum
movie.
wasn't so good. That's why his face fell off.
Yeah, that's why his face fell off. But still super soldier.
Yeah.
The Hulk's movie. He just fought the Hulk.
Are you talking about
the
the
Scarlet
first
Witch
one with
TV show? She just fights Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, that's true. Just another witch.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
seems
there's
to
a
be, like,
lot of
straight
them.
rule.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the okay, Spider-Man wasn't that way. Thor, I don't even know who Thor fights half those movies. The first one he fought like a robot, I think. I don't really remember.
Now before Jake Gyllenhaal's character went like psycho, like when they first introduced him, like he's pretty sympathetic.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you realize it was all an act.
yeah, and he's also like going crazy and like trying to fuck up lots of people in the world
Yeah. But with CGI.
with CGI. Yes,
With CGI.
I really liked that movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, both the Spider-Man movies are super good.
Yeah, Marvel's
And they're bringing back the Spider-Man for the third one, all of them.
from the Spider-Verse.
No, like the newest Spider-Man movie for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I was gonna have
Apparently, it's gonna have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. in it.
bro.
That's powerful.
That would be legit. I know the rumors have been like going around. Is it all confirmed?
I think most of it is confirmed. I know a lot of the fan favorite villains are coming back.
Yeah,
like
Doc
Willem
Ock.
Dafoe.
Yeah, Doc Ock's back.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
Bro, those
Jamie Foxx.
dude, those Tobey Maguire movies were legit.
Dude,
I
they were
don't-
so good.
I don't care what anybody says. I remember we had them on DVD. Man, they were
Yeah,
good.
they really were, especially for the time. They were just
Yeah.
top notch.
They're a little campy now.
Yeah, but like for the
But-
time, they were pushing boundaries for what superhero films
Well,
could
yeah,
do.
I don't think anybody can go back and look at them and say like, oh no, that was shit. Like skip, don't watch it. No, like they're good. They're entertaining.
For a while, like when I was fat, I thought that I was gonna have like the Tobey Maguire transformation. Like one day I was gonna wake up and be like super skinny and jacked.
I mean, you basically
Climb on
did, right?
walls.
No, it was a lot of hard work and dedication.
Okay, pardon me.
That's what they don't tell you.
Yeah. But those movies, like back in the day, like when I first saw them, because I didn't see them until after the third one came out and it had been out for a while. I remember seeing the first one on Cartoon Network. It came on a Friday night, and I watched the whole thing with commercials. And I thought, wow, this is what I'm gonna look like when I'm in high school. And then as I got older, I realized I don't look anything like this in high school. I look like a 14-year-old. I look like a 10-year-old in any freaking TV show. And then I realized that literally Tobey Maguire's like 34 when they shoot that movie.
That's what's crazy. He's supposed to be like like a late teenager.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got away with that.
Most of those
Yeah.
are like really old people. It wasn't until we got to the newest Spider-Man where they were like, yeah, we'll get like somebody who's close to the age to play.
Tom Holland?
Yeah, Tom Holland I think was like 18 when they shot the first Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, now he's
Like, but-
signed up for the next like 8.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
It's a
Big
good
shout out.
It's a good gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, imagine making that fucking mouse money.
Yeah,
Guaranteed
imagine.
mouse
You
money,
know,
dude. The contract's already signed.
we
dude.
could be making that money too. But somebody keeps scaring off our sponsors.
Brutal.
Yeah, Sam. Anyways, boys, what did we learn today?
Whew, I learned. See, well, actually, we're going out of order here. What the heck?
Yeah.
How does this keep happening?
All right. So what I learned today is if I want Max to think that I have good points, I should probably just do really just morally questionable things and dress up as some kind of animal, preferably a vulture. Not even dress up as a vulture, just
Yeah,
have
sounds
vulture
about right.
wings.
Yeah, it sounds about right. AJ?
I learned about the zone of doubt. Wait, what's it called?
Dilemma zone.
The dilemma zone. That's such a good name. I learned
Dilemma
that.
zone.
I learned that I can now run through yellow lights without a care in the world because
Yeah.
there's a life hack in the traffic courts to get out of it.
Yep. Dilemma zone.
Incredible. Max.
Today, I learned that everything relates back to Fast and Furious. Thank you. Have a good night.